What is up, you guys? It's your boy Shady Luke back with another video. And on today's video, man, I just wanted to talk about Jalen Hurts. Since the talk has cooled down a little bit. It's just Jalen Hurts, man. There's so many people saying so many different things about Jalen, and some of it's just not true, man. Some of it's just not true. He does more for the Eagles than people realize. Like, there's so many people that want to compare and be like, oh, throw this quarterback on that team, throw this quarterback on that team. I'm like, dude, you do realize that the Eagles have a certain type of like playing style on offense, right? And his running ability and his power, the way he plays football, it's a fit with the team. Like the team, this Eagles team, once he took over in 2021, they started to have a lot of success. Once Nick Sirianni took over and Jalen was the starter, this team started to have a lot of success. The two people that honestly most of the league and so many fans and so many people just like to discredit at a disrespectful level, and I do not think I'm over exaggerating when I say that. I don't know what it is with people disliking Hurts and thinking that he's overrated. He's a merchant of a super team, all this stuff, dude. It's just so it's not true. It's not true, dude. It's not true at all. You want to know when I really knew that Hurts was going to be our quarterback for the longest time? 2021, man. They went up against the Kansas City Chiefs in week 4. And you got to remember at this time, I mean, I got it right here just to remember, because I remember this day, but I wanted to look it up just to be 100% sure, because I was like, dude, I remember Jalen was balling. He was balling, and his wide receivers were, I mean, he literally, on the Birds, he had Jalen Reagor, Greg Ward, Quez Watkins. That was his wide receivers. Except for one, the guy that they drafted, that ever since him and Jalen at the helm on this offense, things got different. Devontae Smith, dude. And then, of course, you had Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders. Then you have Kenny in the backfield. But this 2021 game in week 3, Jalen took over. He literally balled out. Like, there's no other way to put it. He went up against the Chiefs. They did end up losing that game. Philly did end up losing that game 30-42. But, dude, Jalen balled out in that game. That's when I knew. I was like, there's something in this dude. Like, there is something in this dude, to the point where I'm like, he may be our quarterback of the future. And I've always loved Jalen. I've loved him ever since he was in Bama, Oklahoma. I always thought he was good. I always thought he was better than he was portrayed. You know what I mean? Just as this mobile running quarterback, not the best passer. But, I mean, we all saw what happened when he went with Lincoln Riley to Oklahoma. Turned into a pretty damn good passer. But back to this KC versus Eagles game, man. This is the first matchup versus Andy Reid. And honestly, Spags, I think Jalen Hurts is kind of kryptonite. Call me crazy. I think he is kind of kryptonite to Spags. Because Spags has never been able to just like shut him down for a full game. Right? So in this 2021 game, Jalen went 32-48 for 387 yards, 2 touchdowns. Right? He was the leading rusher on the Eagles. He had 47 yards for 8 carries. He was literally the leading rusher. He was leading that offense like no other. And like I said, they did end up losing that game. But you just saw so much from him. You were like, yo, dude, there's something in this guy. Next game against KC, right? So the next year, the Eagles, we saw what happened, right? Their team was really good. They didn't cruise all the way to the Super Bowl. They had some bumps along the way. But we saw how good Jalen played against Kansas City in that game, right? And the Eagles defense was number 1 passing defense that year. They didn't do much of their job, right? I mean, KC put up 38 points. The Eagles put up 35, right? And yeah, I understand that Jalen did fumble. He did fumble. you can make a case that if he didn't fumble, the Eagles also could have won that game. But we kind of saw how it fizzled out with the penalty with James Bradbury. But in that game, Mahomes, and I know Mahomes was banged up, but hey, he's starting. If you're gonna start, finish the game, and he did finish the game, so I'll give him that credit. But in that game, Mahomes went 21 to 27 for 182, three touchdowns. He literally balled out. He had a great game. Jalen in that game, 27 for 38, 304 yards, one TD. We all remember this, man. We all remember this. It's not like I really need to tell you. Leading rusher, 15 carries on 70 yards for 3 touchdowns. Tush Push Merchant, he was the leading rusher in that game. Like, Kenneth Gainwell, 7 for 21. Miles Sanders, 7 for 16. Boston Scott, 3 for 8. They didn't do anything in that game. He literally put the team on his back, man, against KC, against Spags, who some people consider one of the best DCs in the league. Kryptonite. Like, Spags has issues against him. Let's go to the next year. The year where the Eagles crumbled. Like, they literally crumbled after they played San Francisco. And if I remember right in this game, it was wet. Somebody fact check me on that. If I remember right, there was some like rain and it was wet. But yeah, man, that 2023 game, the Eagles beat them 21-17. And Jalen and the offense, they struggled for like 3 quarters, right? And Patrick Mahomes and them, they also struggled. I mean, Jalen went 14 for 22, 150 yards. No passing touchdowns, just 1 interception. Mahomes went 24 of 43 for 177, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And I mean, Mahomes had damn near like double the attempts on passes to Jalen, and he had like 27 more passing yards. And that's another thing with him. There's so many times that on a week-to-week basis, like, I remember there was one week where I saw Jalen he was like 10, 15 yards off from like Josh Allen and a couple other quarterbacks. Hey, but the dude, it's all him. He's the main issue. You got to pass for 250 yards in this league, or else you're irrelevant. You're not a quarterback. That's literally that's how people talk about him. And I just remember that there was this one week specifically where, like I said, he literally had like 15, 25 less yards than Josh Allen. Mahomes had like a little bit more than that. Mahomes had like 40 or 50 passing yards. All the talk all that week is Jalen. Jalen can't pass. And I understand people like to bring up his weapons. This last year, the Eagles had great weapons on offense. There is no question, right? Great weapons. But you also have to understand that this is for all offenses in the NFL. Without great coaching on the offense, that shit don't tick. And for a team with the first year DC or OC, you're gonna see some bumps along the way. It's not gonna be pretty. It's just not easy just to pick it up right off the bat. You're not gonna be doing that unless you're Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. The list goes on. Even some of those guys had stability. I mean, Drew Brees had Sean Payton most of his career. But Jalen in that offense, they had Kellen Moore this year. Like, people were talking about the passing offense. Of course there are going to be issues. There were so many fellow Eagles fans I talked to. We were like, dude, we know we're going to have issues on the offense this year. It's just how do they figure it out in the end? And we saw how they figured it out in the end, right? They racked up so many points in the postseason. So let's go to the next game against Kansas City. So the next game against Kansas City was that Super Bowl that we all just witnessed, right? And in that game, Jalen went 17 for 22 with 221 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. We all saw it. It wasn't that long ago. Mahomes went 257 for 3 TDs, 2 interceptions. And yeah, another little trend from the last Super Bowl they faced Kansas City to this Super Bowl is Jalen had 70 rushing yards. And in this one, with Saquon Barkley, who everybody said just carried the Eagles the whole way, Saquon did put a lot on his back. I'm not denying that. But there were other factors. Jalen in that game had 11 carries for 72 yards, 1 touchdown. 72 yards, 1 touchdown. He's not rushing for 20 or 30 yards. 72 rushing yards, 221 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns. Saquon had 25 carries for 57. Saquon had a couple runs where he kind of got a little bit of room, but for the most part, it was just the Jalen show and the defense. The defense played a major role. There is no question. But when Jalen and that offense went out on field, they were pretty productive for the most part. And this just goes back to what I said earlier. Spags against Jalen, they 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 can't stop him. The KC's defense cannot stop him. And I mean, you just look at. I'm not trying to say we all know he's not Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow. He's not in that tier, right? But for these people, he's not top 10. He's not top 10. I'm like, bro, he does so much for this Eagles team. You have no idea. You just need to watch the games. Go back and watch all of the games in these past 2 to 3 years. He's a major factor to their success. There is no question. I know we have great offensive line. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert when he's healthy. And then they added Saquon. But Jalen plays a major role. And for people to discredit him, I'm like, you're not doing your research, man. Like, go back and look at the Eagles before they had all that they have right now. He did so much for this team. Like, he showed that he's the guy. And what else do you want? He just did so much for that team in that 2021 season. I understand that it wasn't the most pretty going up against Tampa. If I remember right, Tampa went on to beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Pretty damn good team. But Jalen does way more for this team than people want to realize. I'm not sitting here and saying you need to call him elite. And I understand that us Birds fans kind of get crazy with our quarterback. But I feel like for the most part, most fans that love their quarterback go pretty overboard, and they're very protective of their quarterback. I mean, this whole offseason, all I've seen on Twitter is Bills fans and Baltimore fans argue about who should have been the MVP and who is the MVP. That's all I've heard all offseason, right? Literally on X, I see it all the time. And I'll say this, for other fan bases, I've heard a lot of talk about other quarterbacks too. That's just been the leading talk, is Lamar and, Josh Allen, and then all these other people talk about their quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, this is not 5v5 basketball. This is football. You have an offensive line, you have wide receivers, you have a running back, you have a tight end, you have a quarterback. On defense, you got your defensive line, you got your linebackers, you got your corners, you got your safeties. One guy can't do it. This is a team sport, man. This is a team sport. I do understand that quarterbacks do elevate a team and make a team better. We just saw it with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels just changed, literally flipped Washington overnight. Like, that's just how good he is. That's what a quarterback does, right? I view it the same with Jalen. I mean, Jalen didn't go out and play like Jaden because Jaden balled out. I understand that, but, people just like to discredit, and I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, you could talk all the quarterback talk you want, and all these people that want to sit and say this and that about their quarterback, you put him in there, you would have been good. Would he have? I mean, Baltimore this last year, when they were playing Philly, I was worried that we were going to lose to Baltimore, and Philly was down in that game. What did they do? What did Jalen and the defense do in the rest of the offense? They went out and won the game. And if I remember right, Baltimore was leading in that game at one point. They couldn't finish. Just like Baltimore couldn't finish against Buffalo in the postseason, and they lost by inches to Kansas City in the regular season. It's a team sport, man. It's a team sport, and Jalen deserves way more credit and way more respect than he gets from all the outside world. I just feel like people just kind of need to do more in-depth research of just what he's done in these past 3 years, past 4 years, and maybe he'll come back with a different perspective on just him as a player and what he's done for this Philadelphia team. They've literally changed ever since him and Nick Sirianni have been here. I don't think people realize that. I don't know, man. I know people like to sit here and be like, Howie Roseman. I'm like, yeah, Howie's goated. But the other guys do their part as well. Don't discredit them. So, anyways, guys, I don't know. You drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about Jalen Hurts, because the talk was so hot with him and Cam and this and that. I'm not going to sit here and compare between him and Cam. They're just different runners, in my opinion. Both power runners, because Jalen's more of a power runner. He's not like finesse like Lamar and stuff. And so is Cam. But I'm not going to sit here and compare them, and I really don't care to. Both really good quarterbacks, and right now there's one that's currently playing. The other is not playing. So there's that. Anyways, guys, drop a like. Be sure to subscribe. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And do your research on this. Like, go back and watch some games on Philly. 2021 and all the way through. If you really want to comment on the subject. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, man. I mean, I really appreciate you watching. I'll catch you on the next one. And it's your boy Shady Luke. I'm outie. Deuces.
You good? Yeah, let's go.